What's going on, YouTube? It's been a while. I've been a little sick this week, under the weather, and it's Thanksgiving week though, so it's been a nice time to get away. I'm in the mountains up in Tennessee, and just wanted to do a video to kind of share where I'm at with the game, what I'm thinking about doing with the game, and I also wanted to give you an update on, when I'm going to show you guys something, because it's been a while since I've showed you anything. And I have a lot of bits and parts and pieces that I've been putting together. I've added in cameramen and like the press guys who record the field, play, and take pictures and photos and videos, and getting them to walk around and kneel down and look at the right angles on the field, and I've also been working on the bench, just the bench players moving around and acting like real life players, right? So little bits and pieces, adding parts in areas that the game's going to need. I also worked on the kickoff and getting the kick return to happen, and I have that working on a very fundamental prototype level. And then when the ball carrier gets tackled, it takes them into the huddle and goes to the first play. So that's kind of where I'm at in terms of the kickoff. I have it very, very, very rough working right now. I'm in the middle of making it work to where it transitions from the kickoff to being tackled to going to a huddle to pick a play. But the meat of what I'm trying to work on right now is the artificial intelligence and getting these steering behaviors to act in a certain way based on a behavior tree. And I've mentioned this before, I've mentioned it in other videos, and AI is a huge task for this type of game. A lot of people out there who make games, they say, oh, start out with a very simple game like a hangman or tic-tac-toe or something super simple, right? And me being the way I am, I want something that's more legitimate, and that's why for someone who has seen what it takes, and I haven't finished the game, so I don't even know really what it takes to finish a game. But from what I've seen so far, what I've experienced with games in other industries or software in other industries, I guess I have a pretty good idea of what it will take. And what I'm trying to say is that that's why I didn't go with AAA. There's no way I'm going to make a AAA 3D football game. Just no way. It's not going to look right. It's not going to act right. It's not going to run correctly. So with what I've chosen to do already, it's already enough. But this video is not about really how bad this is and how hard it is. It's really hard and it's challenging. But it's more about where I'm at, giving you guys an update, and hopefully I can show you something. I know I keep saying it, but I'm not going to give you any timelines, and it's not because I'm not working on it. It's just because I would really like to get the steering behaviors together. I'd really like to get the gameplay looking more, a little bit more polished, so that you can actually see something that looks natural, not just bits and parts and pieces. If you guys want to see those bits and parts, let me know, and I can try to put something together. But I'm also not trying to waste time on doing those videos because they take time. And I'd rather focus on the actual gameplay. So my developer's still out of pocket. He's been working on another project, so he's out of doing any programming for the football game right now. So, and he was working on the throwing and the ball physics, and that's going to be huge because we kind of stopped working on the quarterback and throwing and all of those mechanics, and I let him handle it, and now it's been on hold for him. So that's why I've gone into these other areas. And I can tell you right now, the steering behaviors are very difficult to work with. I purchased a book on Amazon, a very famous book. I forget what the name is, but it teaches you all about AI, and it has an example of an American football game and what they would do for steering behaviors. So I'm very interested in getting that book and diving into it and learning, what behaviors the characters will have and should have, depending on what's in front of them and what they can see. The idea is you want to, even though my game looks very simple, I really want to make it as simulation as possible, even though it looks like a 2D game. So I'm not planning on releasing a game that's just Band-Aids everywhere and then it ends up looking like Madden, which is a joke, in my opinion. I want a game that actually, and even in Madden, as much as I say it's a joke, Madden is very sophisticated compared to, what an indie developer can do. They have a lot in their game. It's just a spider web of code that has flaws, right? But when you look at the steering behaviors and you look at what it takes to actually get a guy to, if you're trying to code what, let's say, a linebacker is thinking as they're playing defense, right? They're probably looking around the line, making sure that they have their proper assignments, watching for any weird moves or signals or audibles that may happen, depending on the play call that they've been given, and then also the play call or the formation that the other team's in and what they think they're going to be running, whether it be a run play, a pass play, a play action, screen pass, QB sneak, whatever it might be, deep ball, whether they should play zone or man. All that stuff goes into play. That's before you even get into the actual gameplay. Now, once you're running around as a human being, you have a certain vision, right? You have a certain peripheral vision that you can see. So you have this cone. I can't see right here. I can't see back here, but I can start seeing right around here. So this all the way out is what the player should be seeing. And that's the first step. What can you see? Number two, how does your body move? How does it physically move? You can't just warp from one spot to another or magically just do these crazy, unnatural things. With a limited animation system that I have, obviously I can only make it so realistic. But I'd like to get the players to move in a natural way and not do things that are totally inhuman, right? So that's like the raw pieces. Then there's the strategy. Like, what do you do? How do you pick your assignment? Who do you run after? Do you play zone? Do you play like any kind of weak, coverage? Do you play close, aggressive coverage? Do you try to attack for the ball? Do you try to lay back and just go for the tackle? How do you tackle? When do you tackle? So one of the things I was doing was that on the kickoff, the kicking team would come down and they would try to run their channels, or whatever you call it. They run their straight channels down the field because they're trying to make sure that they keep this kicker in some sort of boundary. And then as they start to get closer, they start to curve into the kicker. And once you get close enough to the ball carrier, depending on whether the tackler wants to go for an aggressive dive or just like a shoulder, charge, or just get really close and, grapple. It's all based on the character, the player's ratings, how they're feeling, what their form is, and I'm planning on having that in the game. I'm planning on having it where the players, just because you're a 90, if that's even a rating that I have, just because you're a good player doesn't mean you're going to play 90 every single time. You're going to have variations. There's going to be better quarterbacks that are more consistent. The elite quarterbacks in the league, talking about NFL, the elite quarterbacks in the league, the difference between an elite quarterback and one that's, just as good, but not considered to be in that elite group, it's not their skill, it's their consistency. You know, there are guys that are more skilled than other players, but they just are not as consistent. So that's something that has to be in the game. How consistent can you play at a certain level? And some games are going to be great, some games are going to be bad. You know, the players that are not as good, they're probably going to have more bad games than good games, unless you've got someone that's starting to grow and has raw potential and is beginning to build and get stronger. So my point about that is that depending on your form, depending on your skill, depending on how well you play, you may choose to tackle and you may miss the guy. You may tackle and you may be able to grab him. So you may have a quarterback that throws in the money, or you may, throw an errant pass. So all of that AI needs to be coded into a very sophisticated engine that can handle those types of different equations and calculations. And so that's where I'm at right now. I want to get that working because that's the core of the game. If you have that working, then everything else starts to plug and play. You know, if you have a player who's on defense who knows how to play defense and how to react on the field and where to go get the ball and how to react for a zone, and the next step will be, okay, I got a guy on the field, I want him to go after that player, and he knows how to navigate through the field. The next step will be, okay, here's your play. You're playing a zone. Here's where you're supposed to go. Here's how you're supposed to behave. Now, there's going to be other artificial intelligence schemes inside of that too, where you're set to go here, but now if you start seeing something happen, you're not just going to sit there and watch them pass you. You need to go attack the ball. So it can get very, very slippery very quick if if you see, if you're following, where I'm going with all this. And that's why there are times where I feel like, okay, maybe I'm biting off more than I can chew. And then there are other times where, I want to make a quality game, and it's going to take me time. So going back, this video really is about, here's where I'm at. It's beautiful out here, Thanksgiving week, and I'm working on this game, and it's just going to take time. This is going to take time. It's going to take time to get all these things I'm talking about onto the field and actually working, to where they look and feel natural, and the game's starting to look like a real game. And it's starting to get, even though I don't have all this figured out, it's starting to look like it. Even the kickoff looks pretty solid, and it looks like a real game. So I'm excited about that, and I hope you guys, can just hang tight. This game, I really, really plan to get this done. I'm not sure if I'll find a job in the meantime, but this is going to be what I'm focusing on. And I can't wait for my developer to get back. My artists are working on things, so I'm really excited. And hopefully we'll have some more for you guys. And like I said, you might see 2 or 3 more of these videos like this, I can probably throw in a few little gameplay videos just to show you, a few things. But stay tuned. Thanks for watching. My channel's almost at 1,000 subscribers. So hope you guys, like what you're seeing. If you don't, that's fine. If you do, that's fine. If you want to keep watching, that's fine. I know. It's all good, man. This is a raw video. I'm not going to do any editing on this video. So if you're still watching up to this point, peace. And I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Peace out.